Gosh, good question. Look, in all of my negotiations, I always start off with the same principle, and that is that you can only be in a negotiation if, when you leave the table, you feel that both parties have felt they've been treated fairly, and that if one party walks away from the table, feels they've been dudded, then it's not a negotiation worth having. That lesson has served me well in many negotiations over a long period of time. It's something that I learnt very early on in the piece, that a negotiation that is about both parties being satisfied at the end of the day is terribly important. Someone that walks away resenting the outcome is not a great place to start a relationship. Second, I've always enjoyed doing negotiations face to face, in person. It's much better to have a personal relationship with the person you're dealing with. It's good for eye contact, it's good for body language, it's good that you get a sense of how the negotiation's going, much better than on a video conference or doing it over the phone or a teleconference. And always believe that if you can get to somewhere in person and get in front of people, that's far more advantageous. And I think probably the third thing is, these are values that we live here at the AFL. We deal in any negotiation with the utmost integrity. And often I say to people at the end of a negotiation, have we acted in good faith at all times? It's very important to us that we have the feedback that we've acted honourably, and that's something that we always endeavour to do in all our negotiations. Oh, there is, and the perfect example I'd give is our broadcast rights negotiations. I mean, when we completed the 2007 to 11 negotiations, I can tell you in 2008 we were planning for the negotiations which finished last year. That's a 3 to 4 year build in preparation, despite the fact that we probably just signed off on the previous agreement. And in this particular rights negotiations, we would have spent the better part of the first 2 years, our team, under Gillon McLachlan, doing an enormous amount of research around things like government legislation, anti-siphoning, having lots of dialogue with the relevant government ministers and advisors, going backwards and forwards. We would be doing research about what's going on around the world with new technologies, what's going on with different sports rights, what's going on with trends. We'd be doing work on advertising rates, market rates. We'd be doing work on television networks and how they're tracking and how they're performing and how their ad rates are going up. And that's probably 2.5 years in the making. And whilst we're doing that, we're working out what our rights are valued at our own valuation, so that when we sit down with our broadcast partners, one, we think we've got an understanding how their business works, and two, we understand what our value of our right. Absolutely, because you actually want to go into a negotiation as prepared as possible, trying to cover every aspect of it, so that when people are talking to you, you know whether they're telling you the truth or not, or you know where the hot spots are, where the weaknesses are, or where there might be some advantage. And what you don't want to do is go into any negotiation where you're underprepared. You're doing your organisation a disservice.